Hey, what's up, Gun Talk crew? Today we are talking about real Avid. You know them for their tools and all that good stuff, their AR builder's kit, but they brought something out new this year, and it's the Armorer's Master Vise, which is super cool.
Yeah. So,
all right, what are we working with?
All right, so when we look at just guys in general wanting to work on a vise, we always have kind of gone to the hardware store and looked at a ball and socket type vise, right? Because it allows me to spin it 360 degrees. Right. This one actually allows me to drop it down.
Okay.
Do the same thing, right? However, when we go to apply torque, let's say we're gonna work on a barrel nut on an AR-15.
Yep.
We know that the specs are gonna be 40 to 80 foot-pounds of torque, roughly, to do a barrel nut.
Right.
So when we look at a ball and socket type vise, we start applying that torque, it wants to move. So what we did for that to alleviate that problem was we made this pin, it's called a torque lock pin.
Okay.
And then on the bottom of our ball and socket, we have two grooves that intersect like this.
Okay.
And this pin can actually lock into there, right? So in this position, I can come in here and lock it down, and I've got a speed cam over here to tighten it down. I can now apply up to 100 foot-pounds of torque on this vise. Okay. That easy, right?
Right.
I pull it, I can rotate it 90 degrees and do
So every 90 degrees, you got it.
Every 90 degrees in this position, and then every 90 degrees in this position.
How cool is that?
It's super cool. And that's like, you know, a lot of people look at it and they're like, oh, that's the big thing about it. That's what makes the vise so cool, that I can actually apply torque, which it is. I think that's the main talking point when we're looking at it. But outside of that, when we get into all the specifics and really dive down into it, like if you buy this vise, it's gonna come with our gun fit jaws.
Okay.
So this comes off, so on one side, I've got your nice foam,
It's
so I can,
soft.
I can throw a shotgun in here or anything with a nice finish and not mess it up. I flip it around, I now have some grooves on the top. Those are gonna work for Arca Swiss, Picatinny, a tack rail on your pistol or your shotgun. I can throw a barrel in here, so whether I need to check the headspace on an AR-15 barrel, AR-10 barrel, or let's say I've got a Remington 700 and I want to take the chassis off and or the stock, I want to put it in the chassis. I can clamp the barrel down in here.
Gotcha.
Suppressors, you can do suppressors in here, right? And it's reversible, so.
Right, it's reversible, but what I like about it is I don't want to use modularity, but you can position it in any form or fashion you want, and there's an additional tool that you actually sell that goes in conjunction with the Master Vise.
Yeah. So with a lot of our tools, we look at how can we make one tool that can work with another tool. Okay, so that's really just the direction we're trying to go. So when I take my jaws off, I keep two of the pins in my hand, and I actually have these holes right here.
Okay, right here?
Yep.
All right.
So now I can take my pins that held in my jaws and I'm gonna push them through, and you'll actually see they're gonna poke through on the other side right here.
Okay.
And what I'll do is I'm gonna slide this out. This is our AR-15 lug lock. This is a tool that we've been making for years, and it's gonna slide into your upper, it's gonna lock into your barrel extension, and then you can rotate it. So I can actually throw stuff around, but I have some holes in here. I'm gonna drop this in on these pins here.
And you rotate it down, and now you're not going anywhere.
Right, so this is literally one piece now, right?
Right.
So now what I can do is I can take my receiver, I'm gonna slide it on here. I'm gonna slide it on here upside down because I can pin it any way I want, but I have some holes here so I can actually put this in.
So you can pin it in.
Lock it down, right? Now here's the cool thing about it is if I lower this down to work on it for some reason, say I wanna change my handguard, or put on elm lock or whatever I'm doing, this isn't gonna fall off on me.
It's like a hands-free, like you can actually dedicate both hands to the task.
Exactly, so it's just great because I can move this in any position, lock it down, and work on whatever I want to, right? So spin it around.
Well, because a lot of vices, you look at it and you're kind of like squared into a few positions.
Yes.
And you kind of have to almost tilt your body and convert your body to fit the position most vices have, but this one seems like you fit the vise to how you work.
Yeah, and a prime example of that is, I'll show you here in a little bit when I get onto the receiver, the versatility of this vise allows me to be in any position at any time to work on this setup, right? So while I have this upper receiver on here, I want to show you another thing. So let's say I want to put an optic on here. I'm going to put a bubble level on my receiver, and let's say it's a little off, right? So I've got this knob right here. This is my leveling knob. I'm going to pull out on it because it locks in, and I'm going to turn it. And as I turn it, it just moves the jaws by itself, 3 degrees
That's
to the right
sick.
and 3 degrees to the left. So now I can
told you it
fine
was
tune.
cool. I told you.
I can literally fine tune where the upper is,
Yeah.
and I showed you on another rifle. I had a bubble level on there, and you
Right.
can actually watch it.
You can actually watch it move, but that little cant allows you to, properly level your scope,
Yeah.
level your rifle.
Right, so there's no more like in the past. I would put a bipod
Mm-hmm.
on all my rifles, or I'd have my rifle on a tripod, and then like I'm moving everything around. And every now and then, when you loosen something, it would just move really fast. And now
Right.
you're trying. So now I can just get it close, and then now I'm going to just come in here now and fine tune
Right.
whatever I need. It just makes my job easier, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think at the end of the day, when we look at building firearms or cleaning firearms, whatever it is, we love to shoot them. But sometimes when it comes to working on them, it's not as much fun.
Right.
It can be a little bit cumbersome.
Right.
So let's make that job a lot easier with the Vise
Right.
and adding in certain
Well, and
things.
what I like that Real Avid's able to do, and you see it across your entire product line, is a lot of your products work in conjunction with each other.
Yes.
And the Vise block is exactly, what you guys have been doing through the years.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we're really excited about it. So now this is the upper, right? So let's say we're gonna work on the lower now.
Yes.
So let's look at, just first off, we know a lot of receivers the mag well's a little different.
Yes.
So this is our Smart Fit. We can actually spin this guy, and with this alt thread, it moves the spacer up and down.
Okay.
So I can tighten the actual Vise block to this, so when I'm working on it, it's not moving around on the Vise block, right?
Okay.
Now, when we look at the Vise, we actually cut out some grooves in the actual jaws.
Okay.
So this is gonna set down flush in there and lock it in even better. So it's not just locking it in from the side, it's also coming in and like kind of clamping around
It's a
it, like hugging it.
pre-fit. Yeah, it's a pre-fit hugging
Yeah. So
Vise.
when we were talking about versatility earlier, this trigger is adjustable here. So what I like to do now is I'll put it in this position. I can control the safety here, but I can have any tools because there's some little Allens
Right.
going there. I can do all that work right here and keep everything exactly where I need. But let's say I put a trigger and then I'm going to put on my stock. Well, I can easily just throw this around here now, throw my stock
Lock
on
it
there.
in and
Yeah.
throw your stock on.
Yeah, so just like I said, the versatility of this, plus when you have a 6-year-old at home like I do who wants you to do all these little artsy craft stuff,
Right.
I've actually taught her how to use the Vise, and I can lay it down and it's the perfect size for her. So that's why I
So
say it's a
multi-use.
master Vise, yes.
Master Vise, the Armor's Master Vise. Now, if you guys feel free to click on the link below, it's going to take you for more information and a place where you can purchase the Armor's Master Vise from Real Avid. Dustin, thank you for walking us through it. Thank you for creating products that actually work and actually get the job done easier.